Well, hello, and welcome to the podcast today. Today we have a special treat, and I'm going to tell you why. Because we are celebrating Change M.F.C.R's 10-year anniversary. So I have decided that today on this podcast, I will be joined by my partner and my wife, Carolina Alvarez. So let's welcome her.
Thank you.
So 10 years.
Wow. 10 years. Unbelievable. That was I don't understand how that happened so fast.
I just put applause. I'm just kidding. Listen, we are very proud of ourselves. I mean, that was 10 years is a long time to be doing the same thing,
Yeah.
especially this. Something this special to us. So I think the best way to start it is to talk a little bit about the history of the company for those that don't understand and what the company does, because it could be, people that have never heard of it,
Yeah.
of Change M.F.C.R. So let's start by that. So how can we describe the company?
So our company was created to help humans. We are in the mental health industry and in the industry of empowering people to become their best self.
I think it's more of a self-development company because we do have the counseling, of course, but we have other services, right? We have the speaking, which is going really well right now, where organizations hire us to go in there and motivate or teach their workforce. It's going really good. We also have the coaching side of things, which is also going good. We also manage other mental health agencies
Yeah.
using what we've learned here. So, yeah, I mean, they're all doing good. So, yeah, it's definitely a different company than when we started. When we did start, it was a counseling agency.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we started? It was just you.
Only me.
It wasn't even me, right?
No.
It was just you. Carolina was tired of her job, right, in the mental health industry. But the reason she was tired was the reason I got involved, because she was tired of it because of the way they were treating certain situations. We can't talk about the company, but there were certain situations you didn't feel were very humanistic, like wasn't really helping the person you were dealing with. And I remember you used to come to me crying. I just finished my doctorate's degree, right? I was doing sales um, in the insurance industry. I was all over the place because I like doing a lot of different things. And you used to come every night crying to the house about you had to tell his family this, and you know, and I, when I just told you, why don't you just open your own private
Yeah.
practice?
Yeah, he did. And I'm like, no, I can't do that I can't do that. That's insane. And he always had a entrepreneurial way of doing things the way it was always let's start, let's see where it goes. And
Yeah, because the plan was to just so you don't have to go work for someone. Open you a private practice. The plan wasn't to get any bigger than just you. It was just you, so you could see your clients. You could do the model that how you want to treat clients, and yeah, that's how it started. That's how change started. Remember, we had the on in what was that street? 109 East Altamont Ave.
yes.
So if anybody looks us up, that address is still up.
Yes.
It was like a one. It was like a studio. It was like one
Mm-hmm.
space. And we put a couch there, a
A
desk
desk.
there, the long desk that has been with
Mm-hmm.
us surviving from IKEA, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. You were going there. It was only room for you and whatever client you had, and I would help you once in a while, But then you were interested in insurance, like taking insurance.
Yes, because we started with self-pay only.
Self-pay only,
And
yeah.
but it was also, I was splitting my time between working at another place and in this place every once in a while. And then one day he's like, you just
You
need
need to
to
stop.
commit.
Yeah, you need to commit.
We either do it or we don't do it.
Listen,
Because you're not giving it your all in here. I'm like, okay, well, that's very scary because to be working for a company and getting a paycheck and then to go work for yourself and depend on you and your work and what you do, that's very scary. I was terrified.
Yeah, but commitment is one of the most important factors to success.
Yeah.
You either go all the way or don't go, because you're just gonna be stuck in the middle, and that's what you were. You were stuck with doing. You were still working at the same place. It wasn't changing the view on anything, because it was cool. You were doing your own thing, but you were too scared to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told you, you know what? If you do it, I'll get involved.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I told you,
Mm-hmm.
I'll get involved. But I warned you, if I get involved, we're not just gonna be a little small council agency. Remember, I told you,
Yeah.
I don't just. It doesn't make sense to me. And we started getting with the insurances,
Mm-hmm.
and that grew. And then we realized you need a lot of administrative help.
Right.
So we got another office that had 3 offices, and then
Yeah.
and then you were happy with that, but I was like, no, we need more counselors.
Right. And now we had more space.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't, and we got more counselors, and from there, I mean, it was ongoing, so it was pretty cool. It was like it grew immediately.
It
Never had a
did.
bad day. Never had a bad business month for. It was just immediate revenue,
Mm-hmm.
immediately doing well. Um, and yeah, and then it became a situation where I had to be involved a lot.
Yes,
That was the problem.
definitely.
That was a problem for me,
Mm-hmm.
because I had so much stuff I wanted to do. I like working on a lot of things. Anybody that knows me knows I have ADHD, and the way I've controlled my ADHD is by actually doing different things.
Yeah.
That's how I make it work for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then we just started doing the coaching. We started as that, right? And then the speaking, which was that was a big surprise that
Yeah,
worked.
definitely.
That one was a big surprise,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know, you know, uh, due to trauma or whatever, I didn't think anybody would, I don't know, want to hear me go up there and be myself, but it worked. It worked. So now we're here 10 years,
Wow.
and we have all these different departments, right? That different
Mm-hmm.
departments and different services, and they all do well. But I have a theory as to why it does well.
What is it?
Because we really care. We're really doing it to make a difference. You see, I don't think in today's my thoughts are always in what am I leaving behind. And I think yours are too, now that we've been together this long.
Mm-hmm.
Always what I'm leaving behind. I always want to make a change, which is why the company is called Change. I always want to leave a change. Like, I don't want to just make money. Money's not really that attractive
Right.
to, to me or you.
Right.
We like to be able to get what we want and
Right.
pay for things, but we don't want much. For us, it's just leaving something behind. So now I'm gonna ask you a question. So now that we're here 10 years, 10 years. Hold on, there's an applause thing here. I've always wanted to use it. I have it all this time. I've never. It's cheesy, but it's usable. It's usable. So
Yeah,
I want to use
usable.
it. So 10 years. There's a lot of things to talk about, right? So I want to ask you, like, it's been 10 years now. What do you see in the future of it? Where do you want it to go? Because you're one of the leaders in the company. So what do you see, or what do you want?
Well, I really want for us to continue to help humans, right? Like this is how we started with that concept, and I don't want us to ever move away from that. I love that we make mental health accessible and affordable. We really help a lot of people, and then after seeing how powerful our work is in other areas like the speaking and helping other agencies, I just want to see where that can take us, expand more on that and see
Yeah.
where that can take us. We have our registered intern program that trains registered interns to become
Mhm.
their own entity by the time that
And I
they're
think
done
that's
with
a great
us.
program.
Oh, it's a beautiful
It's
program.
a great program,
Yeah.
because we're teaching these new professions, because that's what they are. They're going to be professional. They are the future of mental health,
Yes.
and just teaching them in a way that the focus is client.
Yeah.
We're a
And
client centric company. That's all I gotta say. Clients in our
mhm.
mind, but it's not because of money. It's because that's what we want to do: support humans. And to be supportive, you have to be client centric in a
It's the only
business.
way.
It's the only way. Is the only way. And Yeah, you're right. That is a good program, and I think you do a really good job at supervising them. I see how involved you are. You know, I'm just involved in the admin, billing, and all that, and the ideas. But you, like, you're on the floor with them, which is, I think, is a lot of work.
But so what I've learned by working at other agencies before we open this is that you need to have training in all areas. I was
Hmm.
never trained in the administrative part. I was never trained in marketing, in billing. We had no
And
idea.
and
No,
if that wouldn't be part of the training,
yeah.
because
No, yeah, it
it's
wasn't.
everything. It's a
Uh-huh.
part of, no, a counseling agency. It's its administrative side of it. Without it, it folds, right? Out of it, they're doing all this billing, all this stuff, and that
Yeah.
takes away every hour they spend doing administration is about 2 hours away from a client,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So, and that's why we opened that part to support that. We have a few agencies that we help. We help them
Mm-hmm.
with the phones. We help them with their billing. We help them with ideas, and that's why we started that.
Yeah. So it complements really good for example, the people that come in here and do their registered intern program here because they're getting all of it. We make sure we teach them the clinical side, the client centric side, and making sure that they by the time they leave, they know what the administrative side is, the legalities are. And our goal when we first decided to bring in registered interns is okay, once these people are out there in the world doing their own business, like we know, well, I mean, not all of them, but we know that we had part on what they're doing out there in the world, and they might be serving people in the right
It's
way
like we're
out there.
extending what we're doing. It's what
Yeah.
Lin Manuel said when he said that legacy is the seeds we plant in the garden we never get to see. So we
Mm-hmm.
might not get to see their after they leave us, but we know we planted a seed somehow, some way, which helps us in empowering humans.
Yeah.
But it's been now we got to talk about the now it's you and me. Usually we don't do a lot of stuff together. We
Yeah.
do the counseling side, but we have our own jobs and what we do, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's the way it works, right? So, but now that we're together, we do have pushback on the way we do things,
Oh yeah.
actually.
I mean, we are very unconventional on some of the things that we do. So
And I will be honest, most of the pushback is it's on me because I'm not a counselor,
right,
but I am a client.
right.
We started, one of the reasons we started is because of my mental health issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows my mental health issues, and we saw what it did for me, and that's how I always used to pray. I used to pray. I used to say, if I used to say, my creator, if you get me out of this, if you get me out of this dirty, dingy hotel room I'm getting kicked out of tomorrow and going to the street with these kids, if you get me out of here, I
Mm-hmm.
promise whatever it is you teach me, I'm gonna give. And that's it. That's change, right? That's what
Right.
we've been doing because we're client centric, and for me, that's important. I want people to be supportive. I want people to have a home. I don't know. It's just people are beautiful and they need it, and it's not fair to me that they can't receive it. So,
Right.
and we it gets hard, right? We have a problem right now with one of the healthcare exchange company,
Oh yeah, we
right?
didn't
We're
see
not
that
getting
one
paid.
coming like
No,
that.
we're not. Well, I did.
Well, you did.
So,
I didn't.
just to explain it, I mean, it's all over the news. Change Healthcare, they
Yeah,
had a cyber attack or something like that. But
a
what
month
that
ago.
meant, yeah, it's all of the United States providers in every type of medical field. We're not getting paid.
Yeah.
We are not getting paid. The insurance is not able to pay us. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's bull, but that is what we're facing.
Right.
And I gotta give it to every provider, not only us, even doctor's office that are still giving services.
Yeah.
We're not stopping. I'm gonna figure out. We'll figure out.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was saying nobody saw coming, and I said I did. I'm very eccentric in the way I deal with my business.
Yeah.
Um, I don't use just one company to bill.
No.
I have all. I don't like, because of trauma. I don't like putting everything in one basket and
There you
ta-da!
go.
We're not only with them, so the other companies paid, and we're able to keep our doors open. So yeah, that happened. So yeah, that's a lot of pushback in this mental health thing. There's a lot of pushback in helping people. It's not as cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like a cool thing to do. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter, right? That's what I want to do, and I'm gonna do it to the day I die. It might not be in this. I'm gonna keep helping people because I know what happens.
Yeah.
I am the the product of some support. So, I promised my creator, and that's just what I'm gonna do. What else you want to say about the company? 10 years.
Well, I just love I just love the work that we do.
Mm-hmm.
When we go back to that client centric, it's really cool to see, like throughout the years, to see clients either come back or when they're
Yes.
leaving, they tell us that the reason why they came back for a second or third episode of Care is because they love the work that we do. They love that we do care all the way from the time that we answer the phone, the
Yes.
administrative, to answering any questions about billing or any questions about their treatment.
Even and me and our staff here, I don't know if I can mention her name. She'll know who she is. She's awesome. We get on it and we make sure that people can get. It shouldn't be a
Right.
privilege. It shouldn't be a privilege to get mental health.
Yeah.
Like, this should not be a privilege. It should be a right that
Mm-hmm.
everyone deserves. That people deserve it. So
Yeah.
we found a science that allows people to become better. How is it should be in schools, it should be in work, it should be everywhere that
It
people
should
should be
be.
able to get the help they need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're gonna do. We either go and burn in it and fail, or we win in it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it until I can't do it no more.
Me too.
Yeah.
And I think that is part of our purpose. You do this exercise in a lot of our in a lot of your events, which is to help people identify what their purpose is. And I never understood like why that was so important until now. And you've always like reinforced it. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I know what my purpose is, but is when you have that purpose, it really guides you, it aligns you, even when you're like getting off your path. Having that purpose brings you back to, no, that's not why I'm doing things. I'm doing things because I want to help people. So it brings you back to doing it the right way. So
Yeah, the power of purpose is really important, because when you have a purpose, like, you just fight harder, right? You fight harder. You know why you're waking up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know why you can't sleep at night.
Right.
You know why you gotta fight this person and that person. You know. A purpose drives you. A purpose pushes you. A purpose makes you aware of what you need to be doing. There is nothing else than a power of purpose. That is where it starts. And when you have that, things still go bad, but you have purpose.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to fight, and you fight hard. And I learned that not because I'm smarter than anybody. I learned that because of my experience. You see, when I fought, that became my purpose. My purpose became to empower humans. It started with empowering my kids, but it became empowering humans, and that has become my business. That has become my family. That has become my life. Everything I do is that, and I'm never lost.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I'm depressed, like when my dad passed away, right? I was very depressed, but I was still here.
Right.
I was still fighting because I had a purpose, and the purpose has to continue no matter what. And that is very important for people to do. If anybody asks me, what do I do tomorrow to fix to improve my life, I would say, identify your purpose.
Yeah.
And start fighting for that purpose. Sometimes it doesn't make sense, but it always ends up being it. So, yeah.
I have clients that ask me like, how is it that you can do back-to-back sessions in so many hours and like listen to people's problems all day long? And until I was able to like really say what my purpose is and explain it, I tell them that. I'm like, the reason why I'm able to do it is because that is my purpose. When I come to work, I don't feel like I'm doing work. I'm just enjoying my life because it's what I have set out to do, is because what I want to do is my purpose. So
Something
it doesn't
bigger than self.
Yeah.
Contributing in some ways to make things better, like Mr. Kennedy said. Understanding that that's what you're doing, it makes the day perfect. No matter what's going on.
Yeah.
No matter how hard it is. You knowing that you are contributing in some ways to make someone's life a little bit better. It's everything.
Yep.
It's everything. So purpose. And actually, the last event we went, I made you come up.
Oh my God. That was
so the last
something
event we
else.
went to, it was really important, right? Because these are actually really powerful individuals. These individuals are like in charge of getting the government money for the schools of people that are poor, getting the programs. So to me, it was like huge. I was like, oh my God, I'm here, I'm back. And when I went there, when I did it, when I speak, I like a lot of interaction, right? For me, I need people to be with me. I don't go up there to speak at people. We're doing this together. So I asked Miss Carolina to come up and tell everybody her purpose. She's done it before, but not in that magnitude, right? We did it once before, or for the homeless children. No,
Yeah.
no, actually.
No.
Have I ever? No, I've never
Never.
asked you to come up.
Never.
I've talked about you, but I've never asked you to come up and say your purpose.
Right, never.
Oh wow, that was crazy.
Unplanned,
Yeah.
unprepared.
And that's me. When I go up there, when I go up there, I go for it's the moment. We're here together. Let's feel this. Where are we going? And that's usually what happened. But I asked her to come up, and I saw it in your eyes that you were really like, holy, what's good? What made you so like I don't wouldn't
terrified?
say scared. No, you still went up. You did go up. So you weren't that terrified.
Because I'm never gonna leave you. You asked me to do something, I'm gonna go help.
But you did come up.
Yes.
So let me ask you, but I saw it in your eyes that you were in a world that you've never been before. What was it? What got you so like?
So my first, like I said, you asked me to come up there. I'm going to do it. I went up there, but by mistake, I looked into the horizon, and there's all these little pinheads because it was so many people.
It was, I think, they told me it was like, they said it was 499 and up. They didn't ever give me an exact number, right? But it was a lot of people.
So if you've never been in front of 499 people, everybody's head looks really small, but it's a lot of people.
Yeah, and they're all everybody's
looking this way.
Because,
oh my
because when I speak, I'm really speaking. So like I'm real with people. So they do pay attention. I have a lot of entertainment factors. So they're all looking at you. And I think everybody was like amazed that I brought you up. like they were like they felt you, right? They felt that you were
nervous.
Yes. Well,
very.
So yeah, so that's what it was. It was just the amount of people that were.
Oh yeah, and I don't know. Sometimes I wonder. Like I've never been in that position ever. In that moment, so I was terrified. But then when I got off that stage, it really like hit me because I see you. I've been to all of his events.
Every single one. Every single one. And she don't have to be.
It's a want.
It's a want. I keep telling her we gotta think of a way. I have someone that could go with me always.
And I tell him, "Are you firing me?"
No, but she goes all the time.
I love it. So I've seen him talk to all these people. I'll take videos. But it's so different when you're in that spot. How do you do it? Like, how do you not melt, terrify yourself? Like, that's so many people. And when we've done some that are bigger than that. So I can't even imagine.
The 750 kids, that was crazy. But I don't know. I feel very comfortable when I go out there. I feel I think that what I have found out, and I'm on a healing energy. Like, I don't say I'm healed. I never say I'm healed. I'm healing.
Right.
Little Durk, I think I'm a big hip hop fan, right? Little Durk and J. Cole have a song that I really like, and he has a shirt that says almost healed, and that's what I feel, right? So I'm always reflecting inward to make myself better, and I have asked myself that question, and I think it's because I'm allowed to be myself. You know, when I go up there, they want me to be that. I'm very passionate about everything.
Very.
When I talk as myself, I think it could be really scary on a one-on-one, right? So I'm not like myself because I'm very passionate. You would think I'm Italian. I'm very, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm very, and
energetic.
Very energetic. And I think like for me, there was such a long time that I had no words. I was powerless. I had no voice. Remember, my teeth were ruined, right? From my youth, and I couldn't smile. I was scared of opening my mouth. I remember when I would talk to people, it was hard. It was like hard for me to get words out because I just didn't have a voice. So to get up there and be asked to have your voice, because they're paying me really good money to get
Right.
up there, and they're telling me to have a voice. They're telling me show us your voice. I don't know. I love it. I feel energy. You know I'm a big energy
Oh
person.
yeah.
I feel the energy of people and I feel myself within them. And it just feels really good to be up there, to be able to scream, to be able, because I scream a lot, to be able to be passionate and to
Mm-hmm.
be able to put my power in words. Because something a lot of people don't understand, words have a lot of power, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
weight, a lot of significance. So to be able to do it and use it as an art form is, I feel really good when I'm up there. I never get scared. You know that. I never get scared.
No, it's
I'm ready.
incredible.
I get anxious to get up there. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I love doing it. I love speaking. I love being able to spread the word. I feel like I'm doing my thing as a, I wouldn't say gospelly, but spreading the word that someone gave me, someone above.
And it's really cool to see that. When he first started doing this, it was very interesting to see how, I mean, your husband that you're walking around the world doing life is up there talking to humans, and you see them like truly moved either by his story or by the message that he's giving them or the empowering words. To see people sometimes crying, it was like very interesting for me at the beginning. Now it's, and every time it happens, so it's really interesting to see it because you really, I know what the story is, but to hear a person that is hearing your story, whether it's for the first time or they've heard it, but that it touches them in that way, or that the words that you're saying touches them in that way, they're processing what you're saying and it connects with them. So I think that was so powerful. I love that part. I really, really love that.
And I think I only connect because I want to connect. I want them to really. I'm doing it for that reason. I'm not doing it to become a star or doing it to get money. I'm really getting up there because I want them to understand
Right.
like what they can do.
Mm-hmm.
How powerful they are just in their everydays, and that is, I think, the reason. That's why I do good at it. Yeah, and it started with my story, but thank God it's changed. Now I do a lot of leadership stuff.
Yeah.
But always use your story, and that's a lesson for y'all. For anybody
Mm-hmm.
listening, your story is power. Your story is definitely power. Don't run away from it. Everything you have been through, your experiences, has made you who you are today, and it is a superpower. And running from it is in my opinion, is the mistake. But running into it, it just opens up the door of purpose, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's this 10 years.
10 years. Please. Yes, that's really, really
I really
good.
wanted to use that.
Mm-hmm.
So 10 years, and so okay. So how do you 10 years? We've been together 20 years,
22.
22. So this is almost like half of our life.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Let's
That
talk
is
about our
crazy.
relationship actually. Now that we're here,
Okay, let's do that.
so we've been doing this literally for half of our relationship. So I think it's important to, because I think our relationship is like everything right now, what we've been through. So there's a song by Rihanna. Uh, we met in a hopeless place. I don't know the
We
name of it.
found love in a
In a
hopeless way.
hopeless place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where we did, right? Because so let's talk about because I didn't know that was important. Like, but when you got up there, I did 3 other events with the same people, and that's all they wanted to talk. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people asked me about it, so I didn't know how important it was, that part of it about you when we met. When we met, I was in trouble.
Yes, a
Talk
lot of.
about that. You talk about it.
So when we met, he had just. So when we met, the mom of the kids was still around, and they were separated. A few months, and we had just started talking like as
We were
friends. We were
friends.
just friends.
Yes.
And I think like 2 or 3 months after being friends is when it just got really messy. And she came one day and it was like, I can't take care of the kids.
With the letter.
Left them a letter and said, you take care of them. I'll be back in, what was
A
it?
year.
In a
She
year.
made. Well, she didn't tell me a year. The letter said a year. And at that time, we were just friends. And I was working at I think Martel Pawnee at GMC. I wasn't doing too well. I
Yes.
was just starting,
To sell
right?
cars.
I was
Yeah.
starting to
Uh-huh.
sell cars, right? I was very interested in that. And
We worked together.
yeah, and Marks. But
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a salesman. I was a do boy.
Yeah.
I was a do boy. They used to tell me to
And
do
I was
things.
our
I
receptionist.
remember I used to drive from Miami to Orlando
Yeah.
on a. We need this car up in the Orlando
Yeah.
dealership, and I would drive it. But
Yeah.
it was a job, and I was able to do it. And yeah, I was a do boy. And but then she left. She did that, and
Mm-hmm.
I called everybody from that dealership. I called everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I was in trouble.
Yeah.
I knew I was in a lot of trouble. I couldn't believe what was happening.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, like any human, I started to reach out to people to see who had my back. That didn't go so well, but I called you.
Mm-hmm.
You were the last call. Do you remember what I told you? I remember what I told you.
Yeah. You said that well, this lady just came and dropped the kids. I am going to have to be a full-time dad. I have to take care of them. So I don't think that this is fair for you. So I don't think we should be friends anymore. And because I have a lot and this is a lot of responsibility and I don't think we could be friends anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What
Yeah.
we're friends. I want to be your friend. And I'll just be on the sideline.
But
I just want to be your
I did
friend.
tell you to think about it, and you did say
Yeah,
you're gonna think about it. You
I
did kind of
did.
say it.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I think you called me. It was like the next day and told me, no, we're friends. There's no reason for me to stop being your friend.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. It went really downhill from
It
there. It went
was.
so downhill. The doors started closing in my face. You know, in fact, I have a trauma now. I have keys that I don't even know where the hell they belong to, and I cannot throw a key away because I lost all my keys. And
Yeah.
it was something, and it went downhill. It was a
Mm-hmm.
fast descent.
It
It
was.
was brutal, 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 brutal. So, and you were limited on what you could do because you were kind of broke too, right? You
And
were,
I had just came here
yeah.
to the US and I was here probably like what, 8 months
Yeah, and
or
you
nine
lived in a
months?
studio
I lived in a
with your
studio.
brothers and sister.
My brother, my
So you
sister.
didn't have to help me. It was a weird situation
We
because
had one car, so in order for me to go visit him, because you didn't have a car,
mm-mm.
so in order for me to go visit him, it had to be a day that nobody was using the car. So it was a
And if
I was
anybody knows
struggling, you were
Florida,
struggling.
actually that's something I don't ever
Oh,
tell. If anybody knows Florida, you can't do anything without a car.
yeah.
So I was always stuck with these children wherever I was dropped off. That was
Yes.
the thing. I was there. And it
Yes.
was yeah, so that was a lot. And I used to go downstairs and then when I lost every single key or every door shut down
Mm-hmm.
and I became homeless with these kids. That was a weird, you know, a situation because I knew you couldn't do anything to help me. But you tried. You were there. And then I remember the first night we got in that little car, that little green mosquito car, like I used to call it, and we just drove. You drove me around, and my
Mm-hmm.
kids were sleeping in the back, and I'm just like crying. I just couldn't believe this was happening
Right.
to me. I mean, I've lived a bad life for a long time, you know, in the
Mm-hmm.
ghetto, but this was different. This is like three kids that, you know, so we were driving, remember? And I would look at the back seat and see them sleeping, and I would just start crying all over. Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? What do we do? What am I? And
It
then we
was
found a
scary.
hotel, and we were able to trick them. We paid
Right.
them back, though, right? We did pay them back.
Yeah. They took it. They did. They.
We tricked the hotel to let me stay there. I told them I'll pay them at the end. And that was the most interesting part, being in that hotel trapped for 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I would call you every day. Every day I would call you, collect, and just wail. It was so much. I was in
Yes.
so much trouble.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
It
Like,
was.
and there was like no way out. There was nothing I can do.
I had never in my life experienced or seen somebody experience such a big hurdle. Like when you really know that there is no way out. Like you don't know where to pull money out, where I couldn't send you anything, but I knew you didn't have it. And
At
to know
all.
that the three kids were sitting in the room and there was really no food, there was no transportation, there was nothing, nothing, nothing. You were at the mercy of
Whatever happened.
whatever
And then I
happened.
started begging. I would walk into food stores in the area and beg, and that was weird. That was weird for
Mm-hmm.
me the first time, right? With the ego, you're male. But what can you do? You
But
know what I mean?
remember the Spanish
Yeah, that was the
lady at the
Spanish
little
lady, and I
restaurant?
wish lose. You don't even think about it, like, because you don't think you're gonna get out of it. But I wish I would have knew I was gonna get out of it, so I could keep that person. No. But I used to go to this. It was like it wasn't a food store. It was like a store. It was a regular store, and they have food.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a Spanish lady, and I mean, when she would give me like a food plate of rice or
Mm-hmm.
beans, whatever was left over, and that would hold this off. But it was really hard. It was just like a very difficult situation for me. I was like so pissed off that these kids had to go through this. Like I put them through this freaking mission. I was felt like a loser. Everything, all of it. And we were friends throughout that whole stuff. I guess that was pretty cool. You like everybody bailed on me. I don't want to name
Everybody.
names. I don't want to name names, but most of the people that said they would help me when that I made that phone call to, most of them just
They weren't there.
they
And that
bailed.
I think that was one of the other reasons why I would continue to answer your call, or I would, because I couldn't understand how, why were you so lonely? What, I knew that there was people in your life because I had met them. How was it that you found yourself doing the right thing because you had the kids?
Yeah, I didn't say no. That's
You
what I was
didn't say
saying.
no. You
You
had the
know,
kids. You were raising. You were
yeah.
doing a really good job. You just had really bad circumstances, and then everybody had just turned around like, oh, not
They
my
said
problem.
no. They said no.
That was mind blowing to me. I just, as a human, I
They actually
couldn't
everybody
just
started
not.
asking for money
Yeah.
because they were in there, and I could understand. It was like, we're helping you. When are you gonna pay? But
Right.
I I couldn't even work because I had the kids, the daycare. I was stuck in like the ultimate catch
It
22
was
in my life,
bad.
and that was just my life, and and that night that I was going to actually take my life, uh, yeah, that was the night that changed everything, right? And I remember I used to call her every collect call every night
Mm-hmm.
just to cry, and you would be like, "It's okay." And you would tell me things like what I hear you say now in your work, like you would tell me everything happens for a reason. All that stuff, I used to get so mad at you. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
are you talking
You would even
about?
hang up on me,
Yeah, I would
and
hang
then I would
up.
just wait a
Like,
few
who are
minutes, and he'll
you?
call me
Are
back.
you like, look at what's going on? But then that last night, I remember I called you and I was good. You remember? I
Yeah.
wasn't crying. You even asked me what's going on. I'm like, I got it. I
Mm-hmm.
resolved my problem. And you were like, really? Tell me. And I'm like, nah, you'll find out tomorrow. But it was
Yeah.
my plan to just, take the leap. And I didn't. Thank God.
Thank God.
And I don't know. After that night, I had a real appreciation for my situation. And that's when I figure out the mindset reset that I had. There was a mindset thing, right? What I figured out is I I always believed I was gonna lose because of this, and that's what was happening. But
Mm-hmm.
that minute that I found purpose within the situation, and that's what happened. I found purpose.
Yeah.
I figured out like there's a reason. Like these kids, I started understanding like if I wouldn't have took them, what would have happened to them?
Mm-hmm.
So wow, what an honor! I just got chosen
Yeah.
to fight for someone else other than me, and I don't know. Then I got out of it little by little. We got the job. I got the job in with Frankie, my
Yeah.
dog. I love that boy. That guy taught me everything about sales. He taught me how to win. He taught me how to lead. He taught me how to be savage. It was that guy. He would never know. What I know he knows, but
But it was also very interesting because so that when that happened, it took like a month or two for things to really like start changing. And
mhm.
but once they started changing, it changed rapidly in a positive direction. it didn't stay positive direction all the time, but you could see that because your mindset was different, the way you were tackling problems, like the story that you tell about you going to Frankie and asking for the job and Frankie saying yes, but now I have the kids and can you watch? That's a real story. That really happened, and it wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have asked. So that mindset that you had is, I'm gonna get out of this situation, and I could see it in little by little. Every single problem, you then had a car. You were making money. There was never a problem with the apartment. There was never a problem with rent. You figured out food. So it was, I don't know, it was really cool.
The domino, and that's what
Yes.
that's what I was talking about at convergence from in that
The
event. It only takes one domino. It only takes one thing to start that effect, because the last solution gives you something for the next problem. It might not be all of it, but it gives you something for the next problem. But you have to have that mindset of understanding that all these things are happening and they have to happen. That's where I was.
Yeah.
This has to happen. That's how I thought. What I saw was, I was probably not gonna make it without the kids. So this happened so I can make it. And once I changed the way I look at it, Dr. Wayne Dyer says it when he says, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change.
That was
Very
it.
true. Yeah, it just, once I changed how I was looking at the problem, I started finding solution after solution, and it taught me how to fight really good. It was the best thing that happened. And then we started it was our thing was weird, because we were like girlfriend and boyfriend, but not.
Right.
I think
it was complicated.
It was complicated, and I understood it. I let us be there. Like, I didn't ever say, you have to be with me, because I understood, this is like a really bad situation, and I could tell you were feeling me a lot, but you were like, kid.
And it was
bad.
It was bad.
I understood.
I think it was really beautiful to see you fighting for the kids, and the kids, they were so amazing. They were like the most loving, beautiful. Yeah. They still are. And when they were little, they were so kind.
Right. So I knew, I knew that what I needed to keep going, to keep succeeding.
Right.
And I needed someone to be with me.
Right.
Like, for real. I needed a partner. And I came to you one day and said, okay, you've been.
Right, we were going to almost like a year, 2 years. 2 years. We were on the on and off. Yeah. 2 years.
Not fighting, just we weren't a fish shoot boyfriend and girlfriend. We were just, friends with
yeah.
Something like that. And then, but that's it. It was over. I needed someone. And I told you, I'm like, I understand, but I need someone that's with me, committed.
Right.
In order to go to my next level. If you don't want to do it, this is the time to bail.
Yeah.
And I would understand, but I can't remain in this so-so thing,
Right.
And you were like, yeah, what do you mean? It was easy.
Oh, I wanted it.
Yeah, but I didn't know that. It was easy. You were like, yeah, I'm not going nowhere.
Right.
So what do you want? I'm like, well, you got to move in. That's the first part, because we need all the money we can. We need to put our stuff together. And, you need to move in, and that's it. And you have to go on this battle with me. That's when we started.
Yeah, but it really wasn't the money. He was making a lot of money at that time. What it was is, I think, because he had already reached that level, and I understood that at that point. If you would have asked me that a year before, I wouldn't have done it.
I needed a mother for my kids.
Right.
I needed a wife.
Now I knew that I knew the level of commitment that you had as a dad, as a human. I saw you overcome, like, go from zero or minus to now being at this level. That's what you needed next. Like, now I need to solidify my relationship and a mother for my kids. And when he told me that I needed to make a decision, and it was a no-brainer, I wanted to. I still got to a point, I was never the mom to the kids.
Ever.
I ended up fitting in that role because of the kids were so incredible.
In fact, they still call you Carol.
Caro.
They don't call you mom, because that wasn't.
Yeah.
Both
we were
of us
friends.
didn't want that. We wanted them to know they had another bomb.
Yes.
I thought never to lie to them. I never wanted to
Never.
lie to them about their situation. I didn't want to one day wake up and have to explain to them and have them relive that pain. For me,
Right.
it was they're gonna know the truth. They're gonna know what happened. You remember the day that I told them this is what's happening?
Yeah.
It was when I went and got the birth certificate for
Oh
my
my
son.
gosh, that was crazy.
Because the mother of my children, you see, one of my children, I don't want to say who, didn't have my last name. Yeah, I was told that it was because so child support don't get. But then as I got older, I realized, wow, I'm an idiot. It was because I was a 16-year-old child, and
Yeah.
this lady was an adult, so that's why she didn't want my
Right. She
name
could have
on
gotten
that.
in trouble.
Yeah, I didn't
She
know
should have.
that. So when I went to put him in school, that was a hard battle. When I went to put him in school, my name wasn't on the birth. They didn't want to take him.
Right. And we had not thought about that
At all.
until that moment, that day and time. He turned 5 years old, and it's time to go to kindergarten.
And
It's
they're
like,
like-
oh my God. And we had no
Yeah,
documentation.
no documentation.
That was insane.
There was.
So he's like, okay, well, I need to go get it. I'm like, oh,
No,
okay.
I remember
So
I tried to convince the principal.
yes,
Yeah,
that's
and they
what
were
it
like,
was.
and I didn't leave the office, and they were like, "Look, sir, this is just a legality. There's nothing I can do. You need to
Right,
do that."
but they were
and
so
then
kind
then I'm
too.
like, "So let me ask you something. So what happens if I don't get this child in school?"
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, "Well, usually DCF has to get
Mm-hmm.
involved." I'm like, so another cat. It was a catch. What is it? Catch 22. What do you say? Catch.
Yeah.
It was like
Is
you won't
it-
let me in, but. And it wasn't their fault. I never
No,
got mad at them.
That's what I'm saying. The principal sat down and explained it to you and said, I understand your situation. I would let him in, but legally we have to have this paper. If not, any person can enroll any kid in school, and that's how kids get lost in the world. And you could understand
I
it, but
still
at the
think there was
same
more to
time,
that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well,
I would
yeah.
love to talk to somebody that had the same situation. I don't know. I don't think nobody believed I had these kids. This was at a time
oh
where
yeah,
being a single dad wasn't a thing.
that was not a thing.
I remember when I used to go to the food stamp office, they would be like, "Yeah, sure, you have the 3 kids."
Right.
And then I went to a lawyer to try to get the birth certificate. Remember?
Right.
What is it? A free lawyer
Yes.
from the city. And then he didn't believe me. And
No,
remember that day
yes.
I went and he was like, "I need to see pictures." I'm like, they're here. I don't understand. What do you mean pictures? I need to see pictures of them living with you daily. I'm like,
Right.
what? And that's when I noticed, oh, nobody believes that this is
Right.
happening,
Uh-huh.
right? So I remember I told you I gotta go. I gotta go to New York right now. You're
Right.
like, what do you mean? You don't have no money? I'm like, I'm taking everything I got and I gotta go to New York because this kid gotta go into school.
Or I'm
Right?
gonna get in trouble.
But for me, it wasn't trouble. For me, it's like I can't let the life of these children start unnormal because of something I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I'm gonna go find the mom and I gotta get their birth certificate. And you're like, where does she live now? I'm like, I haven't spoken to this lady in years,
Yeah.
right?
It had been 2 years now.
And you're like, how are you gonna find them? I'm like, it's New York. That's what we do. We roam the blocks, right? And so I remember we rented an Intrepid, which I loved,
Yeah.
right? And you were like, I'm going. I'm like, I don't think you should go because we're going into the deepest crevices of the hoods, right? And if I find her, she's usually hooked up. She usually has friends.
Yeah.
It's probably not gonna end well. So you went in with me anyway, and we went down there, and we got in the car. Remembering I was just searching all over freaking New York City, driving, and then on the last night, I'm like, "That's you." You were like, "We have to go with a rental. We don't can't
Right.
afford another night. I'm sorry, it didn't work." I'm like, I know, and I'm like, one more time, and I hit the blocks, and then we're driving up a block. Remember that day? We're driving up. I have the 3 kids. We're driving up a neighborhood, and it was like, there she is.
Right.
There is this person, and you're like,
That was-
where?
Right there.
Right there, talking to another person we used to know together. That's her.
That was
And then I
insane.
pulled over the car, and I I got out the car. And when this person was talking, facing the other person. And I tugged behind him, and I'm like, I got this. And I reached that person, and the other person goes, they used to call me Tito, and the
mom.
mother turns around and goes, my Tito, and I saw that face. I'm like, what did I just do? Because I'm in this neighborhood, right? I don't know nobody no more, and I know what happens in these neighborhoods. And I look around, and everybody turns around. I'm like, oh,
Right.
no.
She
This,
knows
this
a
was
lot of people, and
this
you've
was
been
a
gone for a
bad
long
idea.
time. Yeah.
I ran in the car and I started running red lights, remember?
Yeah.
And we parked down there in the park, and you get out the car, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Right.
And you're like, I don't know either. I mean, and I'm like, this is dangerous. It was really dangerous.
It was.
And you're like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't have a choice.
That's what you
I'm
said. I
going to
have to
go.
do this.
I'm just gonna do. That's when I learned how to live in the moment.
Yeah.
Like to handle problems, just go, and your skills, your abilities, your experience, you can do it. And so we got back in the car, and it's funny. We ran back up, and that person, they were waiting
Right. It's like they knew we were gonna come back.
because they knew I was there.
And she also, for a while back, he had asked her multiple times. This is before we lost contact.
It
Like,
was
I
sent
need
to
the
me.
documents, and she
It
would
was
say,
sent to
I
me.
sent it.
I sent it to you in the
it.
mail. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I remember that. So then I rolled back up. I pulled down the window. I said, "Get in the car." And they were like, "No, let me see. Get in the car, or I'm rolling away right now."
I know.
And they got in the car, and let the kids see.
The kids had not seen her for over 2 years.
It was rough. It was rough.
That was the most.
So then I asked her for it, right? I'm like, I need that birth certificate now. Your son needs to go to school. And it was the same story. I don't have it.
I sent it to you.
Yeah. So we felt defeated. And this person was really good at acting like they cared, right? So they were like, I want to be with the kids. I'm like, really? It's 2 years now. Whatever. I gotta go. And we left her, and she given me her number, the phone number of the other friend. And we roll out. I'm like, I got an idea. Let's call her out. Let's call her bluff. We're gonna rent another room. We're gonna rent a room for a night, and she can sleep in the room if she had it, but she needs to give me the birth certificate.
Right.
So we stopped at a payphone, and I called, and I did my deal. It was a deal. It was a transaction. And she was like, okay. I had the birth certificate.
All of a sudden.
So give me the birth. So I pulled back up, and I said, you better not get in that car if you don't give me that piece of paper.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And she gave me the birth certificate.
Oh, we were so happy.
I was like, I did it! I won! And I'm like, damn, wait a minute, we gotta spend, and we spent the night with this person.
Well,
we can't say, but it went bad. It went really
bad
bad with this person. It was a bad idea, but a great idea for the future.
I think that at the end of the day,
that's what I've learned. Sometimes you have to give up the todays to win your tomorrows.
Yeah.
And that was one of those situations.
And that's what we kept thinking. Like, okay, we got what we came here to do. That's it.
Like Julius Caesar says, we came, we saw, we conquered. And that's what it felt. The next day.
Yeah.
He was in school. I felt so good. Like Apollo fix. Yeah.
And that was one of the, like, throughout the 22 years that we've been together, to see that happen really just shows you that if you set your mind to do something, you can accomplish it. Like, that's exactly what you did. The moment that you said, I'm going to get that birth certificate. Oh, also, he did go into the New York Vital Records office trying to get it, because we got there on a Friday.
For like 2 hours, bro.
But the guy felt bad for him and said, I am so sorry. I understand. He had the kids with him.
And they're like, I don't understand. Like, dude, you need to go get that birth certificate.
So he pushed through all of the barriers that were presented
to get him in school.
Just to get him in school, and it was the best thing.
And these are battles nobody knows about me.
Yeah.
Like these are things nobody knows happen in that situation. But that's how everything was. Everything was a fight. And I don't know. I was like ready to fight because I needed to break the cycle that was my purpose. I needed to break the cycle for these kids. I didn't find it fair that because of my mistakes. And of course, now, as I go through counseling, I kind of realize it kind of wasn't my mistake. I mean, I was 15 years old and this person was an adult.
Yeah.
Because that's what ended up happening to me. I have my counselor actually put it to me. It's okay with me to say what me and my counselor talked about.
Only if you want the world to hear it.
Oh, but it's not okay. I'm saying, I know there's some privacy situation, but that doesn't matter. I can say whatever I want.
Yeah, it's your privacy.
So my counselor put it to me in this way. He goes, you were literally kidnapped. And I'm like, what do you mean kidnapped? I mean, I went in there. I'm like, dude, you were 15-year-old.
Yeah.
This person was double, triple your age,
Yeah.
an adult. You literally had no choice in the matter. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't get that until he said that. And then I'm thinking with my kids, I'm like, yeah, I mean, if my kids at any point would have been with an adult, I would have called the cops.
Yeah, it
I
would have
would have
never
done everything
happened.
because I know as a parent, these kids, it's a kid. They have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on. And yeah, and I felt like I couldn't leave. I was in a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
and that's something I don't ever really talk about. That phase, that was a really bad situation
Yeah,
for
that
me.
was.
It was a very abusive situation. I might get sued for this. No, right?
No,
I'm not saying names.
we're
It's
not
it's a
saying.
real story.
It's your story.
So yeah, it's what happened, right? So it was a really abusive situation, but I blamed myself for so long.
That's what trauma does, though, because you're, as a victim, you only have the perspective of you. You're not able, because of being abused, you're not able to get out and look at it from like the outside of the
Mm.
windows of the house. You seeing it from the inside. So it was impossible to recognize that all of that was happening. Plus, you were a kid. So as
I
a
was a
kid, you don't
kid,
have the
a
tools, you don't
dumb
have the
kid at that, a
knowledge.
dumb kid at that. Like I was a kid because, and when I say I was dumb at kids, I didn't have any experience but ghetto.
Yeah.
I didn't have experience of taking care of your life, of being healthy, of all that stuff that I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this it's I'm just getting and it's a new form of my healing, right? A new age where I'm starting to understand that I mean, I probably would have never chose anything else because what the hell did I know?
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't even get the concept that this person shouldn't have been with me.
Mm-hmm.
This is sexual abuse. So I always say I'm sexually abused. There's other instances, but I consider that very sexually abused because
Yeah.
15, I'm having intercourse with a grown adult
Right.
and having kids, 3 kids with
Mm-hmm.
this grown adult. How much is that my fault? Doesn't matter. But I do like taking some blame because I think in life you gotta take blame somehow because I think when you do something about it, right?
Right.
So I think I did have some. I didn't know I was in trouble. I didn't know it wasn't the right thing to do. Was I trapped? That's could be, but still.
But I also, so I think that going through your story and seeing the hardships and like all the ups and downs in counseling, I'm always, what I bring to counseling is that I'm very real, very human, and I use a lot of our life stories, your life story, to like to connect it with people. And something that I always like, I think any client could tell you that I have said this sentence to them is, everything in life happens for a reason, the bad and the good. That bad situation, that really, really, really bad situation, created the most beautiful life that you created.
Oh no, I wouldn't do it no other
Yeah.
way. Like even now, I appreciate what happened to me. I
Yeah.
appreciate because now, in hindsight, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I probably wouldn't have been any better anyway. I was being raised in a violent neighborhood, where a lot of violent things were happening, and the only way out was to become a drug dealer, right? So if this wouldn't have happened, that's probably where I would have. So it had to happen. It taught me how to live.
Yeah.
It taught me how to fight, right? It taught me how to appreciate. I appreciate everything in my life right now. And I think I needed that. I needed that to happen. And I think
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
supposed to happen. And that's that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love spending every weekend with my grandkids. I was
Right.
just with my grandson the other day and I had a blast. And that wouldn't have happened if this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So,
It's I'm just really thankful of the choices that you made, like along the way. The choices that you made for yourself, the choices that you made with the kids, the choice of having me in your life. I'm really like grateful that that has been like what created this
yeah, and
story.
I'm grateful too. I'm grateful that you stuck it out. Like now that I look back, like I know I know that it took a lot of gut, it took a lot of courage to be with me because I was in a lot of pain. I was life was very didn't look like what what everybody else sees. Even now, it's still not right. I don't see life the same.
No.
But then it was like in a bad way. I was in a lot of pain, and you kind of stuck around, even though and understood. And I think that's what makes you a good clinician, right? That you're taking people for what they are. You understand why they're there. You know, I was angry. I was very angry with everyone, and scared at the same
Right.
time of everyone. I was scared of you. You remember?
Oh
I
yeah.
was always like, "What are you doing behind my back?" And you were like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "What are you doing here?" You know?
Right. You can be anywhere in the world
Yeah.
with
What are
any
you
other
doing? What
person.
is stuff?
Why are you with
What
me?
do you
Right.
see that you want from me that you're tricking me?
Yeah.
But come to find out, I see what you see now. I saw what you see. You know now, and I can
Hmm.
see whenever you ask that question that you say, "Well, I saw him fighting for somebody so much." I can see why that would be a good character trait
Yeah.
to see somebody that's fighting for someone else. So I felt really hard. It was
So
the
hard.
hardest fight of my life, and I still do. I am I still fighting it? I don't know. I still feel like I'm in it, but not in the same way.
No, it looks different.
It looks different, but it's still a fight because I still want all my grandkids. They're all my legacy, and I need them to succeed. That is it.
Hmm.
There's nothing else for me, but it's a different life. Is very different, and sometimes now, like when my office is huge, right? I have a big office, but it's for a reason. It's where I think. It's where I brainstorm, right?
Right. The lab.
Yeah, the lab. And sometimes I sit there, right, and I have like a maybe one day I should show it, right? I have like a little desk in the middle of this big room, and sometimes I sit there and it's like holy, I don't know if
Hmm.
I could what is this? What is this? What happened? Because the life I live now is very unbelievable to me, and it
Yeah.
feels like a dream. I was speaking to somebody. I ask people what their dreams, even in regular life. I know it's annoying. Like I think somebody that works with me, I asked, "What are your dreams?" And it was like, and that person goes, "What are your dreams?" I'm like, "You're, we're both living it. This is it."
Hmm.
And it isn't. It isn't. I am living my dream because my dream has been to be in a situation like this where I'm being me because I'm myself all day, right? And where my kids are like they have a life
Yeah.
and they do. My kids they
Hmm.
leave me out of it sometimes, but whatever. In a good way, right?
Right.
Sometimes they like I call them and they're like having their own dinner, family dinner. I'd be like, what? But I understand. And then my grandkids and the way they handle my grandkids is beautiful.
Yeah.
They're like
It's really
my
powerful.
grandkids would never know
Yeah, they will
what
never
happened.
know. Yeah.
They don't see that life. We
No.
just went to the zoo with all of us.
We
What
just
I'm
went
saying?
to Aquatica
We
with
just
all of
went to
us.
Aquatica,
Yeah.
and what was it? We all went to see my grandson play football, right? So and basketball, and
Basketball.
so they don't get to see, and that's the point. If we as humans will begin to stop thinking about the results of today
Yeah.
and and start thinking about the legacy of tomorrow,
Hmm.
not only will you build something your past would have never imagined possible, but you will have fun on your journey instead of always thinking about the destination.
Hmm.
Because that's something as humans we keep doing. We keep thinking about the end game, right? The destination of what's getting there. But that's not really what matters because
Right.
it never ends. Right? The self-development with my kids and my grandkids, all this it doesn't end. My story is not ending today. It ends when you die.
Right.
So the only thing we have is the journey, and I enjoy now like that I got my doctorate. I never getting the doctorates wasn't the prize
No.
at all. It was
Mm-mm.
never the prize. I didn't even feel like it was a prize. The prize was the journey of
Right.
the battles I won and to get there. And I'm glad that you got to see it. I'm
Oh,
glad
I love it.
somebody got to see that
Hmm.
this because I sometimes understand like if you're outside of me, how can this be real? What happened to me? But
Right.
it's real. I am an American dream.
Yeah. how about success? What is your definition of success, and has it like changed throughout
It's
our
changed.
our years?
It's changed, but it's been the same. So it's changed where, okay, my success was to um, make sure my kids are good
Mm-hmm.
and my kids break a cycle. This the cycle that I was living, that my kids live a good life. And it changed just in the people, right? Like, so now it's not them. Now it's everyone that I come in contact with. My success is being able to leave something behind to those that make contact with me.
That's
So
pretty cool.
breaking a cycle for anyone and everyone that I get to break the cycle for. So that's the thing with purpose. The purpose, it changes because my kids now, they feel successful in their own right.
Yeah.
I know they're successful compared to where we've been, and we continue to that. But for me, it's just grown. So now, and that's what changes. That's what this place is.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it continues to succeed and grow, and again, success is that we continue to help people
Right.
become whatever it is they want to be, or unleash their human potential.
Mm-hmm.
If this is my life forever, this office, this every day, I'm happy. I'm happy because I've seen the results. We've had people that we and you both work with that come back and say, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
I made it.
Yeah.
I made my success.
Yeah.
And it's people we work with. I've had people, and I don't go and put it on social media. People think I put everything on social media, but I don't. I'm
Right.
very, very careful, right? So I've had people that are homeless that somebody else would be questionable on being around them, right? Because of the way they look.
Right.
I've had them in my office
Mm-hmm.
where I'm paying for their GED, where I'm paying for their classes, and I'm doing everything I could. So it doesn't work all the time, but I'm doing everything I could for them to make it. I put a lot of my money out in the community.
Mm-hmm.
There's times that people come here and their insurance doesn't work and they don't have the money. We pay for it,
Right.
but we don't tell anybody.
Right.
We pay the counselors.
Mm-hmm.
No, nobody knows we do that actually.
Right.
Actually, not it is. Isn't this is kind of the first time we say it?
Yeah.
We
First
do that
time.
a lot actually. So success to me isn't money. I don't want to be rich. I
Yeah.
really don't. Not that I don't want to. It becomes great, but that is not my success. My
Right.
success is how many people can I help before I die. That's it.
That's
As many
mine
as
too.
possible. Yeah.
I love that in the 22 years that we've been together, like our definition of success has been refined. And when I was young, I would think about it, or the way I was brought up, it's all tied into money and the amount of money that you make. But in reality, it's not that. I also see success as being able to continue to have these doors open and help people.
Yes.
Not the amount of money we're making here, is the amount of people that we're actually helping.
That's what I see as the revenue.
Yeah.
Revenue to me is not the money. Revenue to me is how many people I have the ability to help. The more people I could bring, that means but it means the same thing
Yeah.
because it takes revenue to help them.
Right.
So the more people that come in here, and the more people that we pay for counseling for, or I give a lot of free services myself, like a lot.
A lot.
The more I can do that, for me, it equates to money.
Yeah.
It equates that must mean I'm making good money if I'm able to do this because it works.
It does.
It's not that we know better than anybody,
No.
anything. It's the unequivocal support of people. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just being there, answering the phone, listening to ideas. One of the biggest crimes is not working on your potential.
Mm-hmm.
If you do what you do best, you not only help yourself, you help the world. But I think that one of the biggest crimes is not having someone to listen to your ideas. I don't think that should be allowed. If I was president of the United States of America, I will make a law that people that I know that's not true. I'll make a law that people should be able to tell you their dreams, and you're supposed to shut up and listen.
So I think that you don't have to be the president. You could just find yourself a human that's going to be around you that will do that for you. That you
That's
could
hard.
have those conversations.
Yeah.
But it's doable.
It's
You just
doable.
have to, I think the other side is you have to have the courage to want to say what your dream is. A lot of people get scared of being labeled or being called silly. Yeah, dreams can sound very silly,
But they're not.
but they're not. They're
No
not. And the
dream is
more
silly.
you speak
No dream
of
is silly.
them, the
The
more
more they come true.
they do,
Dr.
because
Wayne Dyer says if you believe it will work, you will see opportunities. If you believe it will not, you will see barriers. And,
yeah,
and it's true.
it's true.
You have to believe it. You have to believe. So I'm not saying, like, as a coach or as a speaker, I'm not saying I know anything better than anybody. But I do know this. I'm going to listen to your dreams. And that's my main goal, because I had a lot of dreams and nobody was listening. And the day I found somebody to listen to my dreams, they all became true. That's all you need in life. You know, you need somebody to listen to your dreams. Surround yourself people that will listen to your dreams.
Yeah.
You know, John Maxwell says, the better you are at surrounding yourself with people of value, the better the chances for you to succeed. But I think the value should be in people that will listen to your dreams and not judge you on those dreams. I think that's very important. I think the children, the children, you know, I love speaking with children, for children. Like when we do the speaking engagement for children, I love them because they have dreams.
Yeah.
These kids are dreaming. They're like, they see a world that we forget about. And
they're not scared of
they're
speaking.
not scared of their dreams. And I don't know. I just think that we need to, if we want to think about how to solve the world, let's go back to dreaming again. Let's make dreaming a thing. Because when you dream, it's just, I don't know, when whatever it is that you think about when you close your eyes.
Right, you're envisioning your potential. You're
It is.
envisioning who you could be, what you could do, and again, if you're able to see it, then you'll have a path. And
Or Dr. Wayne Dyer says you need to, you know, that saying that people goes, I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
But he has a book. You just bought it from
Yeah.
me, which is really good. I'm reading it now. Dr. Wayne Dyer. And the name of the book is You Must Believe It to See It.
There you go. That's what you must believe it.
You must believe it to see it. Very true. You have to believe that it's possible. You have to believe that it's true. You have to believe in a way that even when other people think that you're nuts for believing in something so great, you have to believe. You have to believe in the morning. You have to believe at night. You even have to believe when others say, man, you ain't right. But you got to believe.
Yeah.
Especially when no one else believes, because that's what makes a dream.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that rhymed. So 10 years. Our plan is to be here 10 more years, no matter what happens, because we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. I do want to thank the community for supporting us in this dream. This has been a dream, and the community's been very supportive of what we do. Everywhere we go, we're treated very well. The events, everyone treats us well. We're all in this together, man.
Yeah.
We just got to keep fighting for our dreams, like we mentioned. We got to keep believing that it's going to be okay. We got to believe that we're not alone, because we're not. So the next 10 years, right? What's the next 10 years?
I think the next 10 years will be doing what we're doing now, but 10 times more.
10 times more.
Yep.
like
I want to help people. I want us to continue to teach the future counselors. I want us to continue to empower humans with the speaking or corporations. Any way possible that we could do it. Yeah.
We're just going to continue to do it. And I don't want to do anything else in my life, but continue to be there for people in any way that I can. I want to make sure that the underdogs of our world understand that they're not such underdogs. It's just they have to fight, but they have something that will do something to help the world, and we can all do it together. I'm very happy of what we built here. The counselors that have all the counselors we've had a lot that have entrusted us with their careers and have entrusted us to help them help the community with our system. I thank them as well.
Thank you.
And we're gonna continue to do it. We're going to continue to listen. We're going to continue to be a place where it's safe for you to dream. That's our place.
That's it.
Now that we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna
Yes.
talk more about something. We said we were gonna talk about something
We want to talk a little bit more about how to do business
as a
as a
couple.
couple.
Yeah, that's a whole
Yeah.
different world,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what our next phase is. Like, I think we want to help couples and marriages more with everything because
Mm-hmm.
we've been together 20 years 22 years,
22.
sorry, 22 years. We've been able to build the business together, we've been
Yep.
able to build the family together. Definitely there's something we know we're doing correctly, and I want to give that to them because we need to make sure more families stay intact in our world.
Yeah.
So if we can help in that, we're gonna help in that. So yeah, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna have another
Mm-hmm.
podcast together. This is gonna be a more often thing. Does that mean I have to change the name?
I don't know.
Oh, I really like the name of the podcast. But yeah, if we have to change the name for you guys, we'll do whatever it takes. So thank you for listening. If you made it
Yep.
this far to our blabbering about helping people, thank you for supporting us in this community.
Thank you for trusting us.
Thank you, Florida.
Yeah. Thank you.
Florida has been really strong for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue no matter what color you are, no matter what you believe in, no matter who you are. We're going to continue to empower humans because that's what we were born to do. The story that was given to us was a story that has to be given to the community
Yep.
because their stories are just as powerful. And we just got to help them get it out. And that's what we're going to continue to do it. Thank you for joining us. This is Miss Carolina Alvarez, the clinician of Baltimore, and my partner and my wife. And again, thank you for being here this long. And we will continue to be here for you.
Thank you.